Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm continuing a really cool series on taking isolated vocal tracks, and it's real fun because they're just really bare bones raw tracks, and I'm showing you, I'm doing an analysis and a tutorial and talking about the recording process. So next up is the Bee Gees. The song is called Stayin' Alive. Now recently I just did Lonely Days, Lonely Nights. I'll put that in the description. And then on my video about head voice, I also did a version of this. You can see how I stacked up to the original version, but we're gonna take a listen to it now and just dive right in. Oh, by the way, I have a singing course. The course is called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. You can find it right here at KenTamplinVocalAcademy.com. I also have a singing forum over there with a lot of guys in there talking about how to get great at singing. But I wanna dive into this. Here we go. The Bee Gees.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, my women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born, but now it's all right.
Now, there's a couple interesting things. I want you to listen really close to this. Sorry for not being in camera view. Is that it's all falsetto. It's all reinforced falsetto. So if you guys want to learn how to do this, I have in my singing course, I have a whole section on head voice, but I also have free tutorials on YouTube on how to do this as well. You know, really how to get started on it. So, ha, ha, ha. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. You can laugh, right? So you, right? You want to get a really nice bright tone and you want to build up that tone. Now, I can tell by the way he compresses his air that we don't teach the same things, and he probably dries his voice out pretty gnarly in the way he approaches his falsetto sound, because he's using a lot of air in the sound. He's going, well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. You can laugh, but right? So you can hear a lot of air. Now, listen really closely to this. Check this out. Listen to how much he goes, in between the breaths. You can really hear his breaths. Check it out.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, my women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born, but now it's all right, it's okay, and you may look the other way, but we can try to understand a New York Times effect on man.
You hear all that extra breathing in there? Now, I never knew that, but I suspected that because in the way I heard him use his breath, that he probably wouldn't be able to sustain that for very long because it'll dry you out. So a way around this, and the correct way to do this, I know it's the Bee Gees. I get it. I'm not claiming to be as cool as the Bee Gees, but I am going to tell you I can do this for really long periods of time. Grandpa's been doing this a long time, and there's a way to do this correctly. And that's to hold the breath and get the sound brighter. Well, you can tell I can use my right? I should get the lyrics out. Sorry about that. Well, you can tell. What is the lyric on that again?
Well, you can tell by the way I use.
Sorry. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. You can laugh, but you can laugh. Right? Did you notice I didn't take big breaths in between the phrases because I'm holding back my air? Well, I'm holding back the breath. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Now, you're going to say, Ken, that doesn't sound as cool or as big as his. That's because he's multi-tracking it. Listen closely how many tracks are going on here.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, my women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born.
There's at least 2, if not 3 tracks there, plus you can laugh. There's an extra stab of extra vocals there all the way through. So let's kind of continue here. Let's move on.
It's okay, and you may look the other way, but we can try to understand a New York Times effect on man. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're staying alive.
Now, a couple really cool things about this. The phrasing of the Bee Gees is just awesome. And when I put up the track, we're going to listen to this to the track. I normally go through the recording process and say, hey, I'd probably add this, I'd probably add that. There's already so much effect on the track, and they use a lot of delays, and they use them in different ways. One time they'll go wah, ba, 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 and then like they'll use a lot of effects on their stuff, and they use an absolute gob of vocal layering, so everything is layered out the wazoo. So it doesn't make sense to go and show you that, other than to show you that the way we're approaching this, they're using a lot of compression. I'm actually compressing this quite a bit to get this sound. So I'm probably compressing it maybe 6-to-1, something like that. Hitting it pretty hard. I got the attack on fast, and I got the release on fast. So I'm really squashing the heck out of it when I'm doing this. But I want to talk to you about the phrasing and the melodies and the way that they combine all their melodies. So I have another thing where I talk about blending, and you can see my video on blending too. But you really can tell my blending when on my video Lonely Days, Lonely Nights, because they just did a phenomenal, gorgeous, beautiful job of blending on that song. So if you're interested in that, how to stack these vocals and how to layer them, I go through some of that as well. But you can hear there's a lot of tracks going on. So let's continue.
Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're staying alive.
Great pitch.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
And like all this breath going on, right?
Staying alive. Staying alive. Oh, what you want?
See, that's like that's you know what I mean, right? But it's very effective. I mean, they did us a phenomenal job. But did you guys know that that's how much air they were using, and that's how much breath they're having to take in order to be able to create this sound? All right, next phrase. Here we go. Bing.
Whenever I get low, when I get high, and if I can't.
Is that right? All these great things. Oftentimes, their stuff kind of reminds me of horn stabs. Right? Like good orchestration or maybe string orchestration, but some of their stuff reminds me of like really cool horn stabs that are really layered well in the way that they have their phrasing syncopated against the rhythms.
Can't get in, I really try. Got the wings off heaven on my shoes, I'm a dancing man.
Can you hear? Doesn't it kind of sound like that to you? It does to me, and I have an orchestration background too, so when I would orchestrate, I would probably think of that as this is going by like that.
And I just can't lose, it's alright, it's okay. I live to see another day. We can try to understand. A New York Times effect on man. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive.
Now, I heard an interesting story about this, and I'm not sure if it's true, but it sounds true to me, that during the movie Staying Alive, or prior to the movie Staying Alive, they got the call, would you like to come and do music for the movie? And it was like a last minute call. And I mean last minute, like pack up your bags, you're coming over. And my understanding is they wrote this song and a couple other pieces for Staying Alive on the airplane. Can you believe that? They're in first class, supposedly, writing this stuff out, working up their harmonies. I can only imagine if you're like in the plane going, hey, who's that? What? I get a free concert, right? But they worked up a lot of this stuff so that when they got to New York City, I think that is where it recorded. I have to check the details on that. But when they got there, they were kind of good to go. I mean, they had everything pretty much together, what they wanted to do for the music for Staying Alive, the John Travolta movie, right? So anyway, I thought this was pretty cool. That's Saturday Night Fever, sorry, different movie. Oops. Anyway.
Staying alive, feel the city breaking and everybody shaking, and we're staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive.
Right? He gets off a little bit on his vibrato there, so it's not as exact as you might think. Now, another thing that's interesting about families, and I want to talk to you about this about harmonizing. Dolly Parton said something really interesting when she did a cover of Seven Bridges Road. And she tried to do it herself, apparently, with her own harmonies. Then she tried to do it with a trio that she worked a lot with. And she said, man, it just didn't have that gospel quartet kind of sound she was looking for. So the gals that she wound up hiring, I encourage you to check this song out too, Seven Bridges Road by Dolly Parton. You're going, Ken, you're recommending Dolly Parton? Yes, I am. The track rocks. She's got her band kicking major band. In fact, I almost got a ticket. The cop gave me grace. I was like, I'm in Southern California. Sorry, side story. Sidebar. I'm in Southern California, and I'm on an area called the Toll Road. It's the 73, and it's going from the Newport Beach area, and I'm going south, South County towards San Clemente. And I was getting through the toll booth, and this song came on. There are stars in the southern sky, and it had this heavy southern drawl, and I knew it wasn't the Eagles, right? And if ever you decide you should go, right? But then all of a sudden I hear kind of this chick's voice. I'm going, that sounds like Dolly Parton. And then it goes through the chorus again, and then it, it has the down these four walls on the seven bridges rolling. There are stars in the sun. And I was like, gosh, this thing was like smoking. I'm like, holy cow. So I'm cranking this thing up, and I'm like, I'm doing 70, doing 75, doing 80. I might be doing 85. And I get pulled over, and this cop comes up. This cop comes up, and he pulls me over, and the song's blasting. He walks up, and he goes, do you know how fast you were going? I said, I have no idea. And he goes, what are you listening to? I go, look, let me explain. All I know is I was at the toll booth. And the next thing, and I'm a rock guy, and the next thing I know, this Dolly Parton song comes on. I thought it was first the Eagles, and then it breaks into this thing, and the next thing I know, you're pulling me over. He goes, man, yeah, isn't that song great? And he starts laughing, and he said that same experience happened to him when he was driving too, the exact same thing. He goes, look, I'm not going to write you up this time, and Newport Beach cops always write you up. He goes, just be careful, turn the music down, enjoy it at home, but let's not speed on the toll road, okay? So he lets me go. I'm like, I'm saved by Dolly Parton. Okay, back to Dolly Parton. You really want to know all this. But anyway, so Dolly Parton had said something very prescient, very interesting. She said that she needed that gospel quartet sound because family, when they harmonize, have a very distinct, like almost the same person singing the parts, unison kind of thing as family. And it doesn't even matter if it's I want to know, from a bass all the way to Mama Sing Tenor, and join right in there, right? So even though they all have different timbres in their voice, they blend so beautifully and so seamlessly that she chose to go with three sisters she hadn't worked with before that were related, obviously, to get that sound, that whole story to tell you this. So with a view towards that, listen again to the blending of this and how it's very unlike a lot of people with different completely different timbres in their voices. Check it out. And I wanted to share that with you so you would understand.
Not going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah.
Now that kind of reminds me more of Andy Gibb, the younger brother of the Bee Gees that died early. It has more of the somebody nowhere, da na 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 na. So he's not actually using the falsetto head voice stuff. And when you listen to Lonely Days, Lonely Nights, and you listen to Barry Gibb's ad-libs at the end, the older brother ad-libs at the end, lonely days, lonely nights, where would I be without my woman? He's got a really powerful, beautiful, punchy, soulful kind of sound. And you're going, gosh, they go from this falsetto thing to this, really punchy kind of cool tone too. So it's not just falsetto that they sing, though that's what they're known for. So anyway, let's continue to play this here. So here we go.
Not going nowhere. Somebody help me, yeah.
I stayed alive. Well, you can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, my women warm. I've been kicked around since I was born, but now it's all right.
Now, one more thing. Again, hang in there with me, guys. I'm just kind of sharing lifetime musical information with you. If you listen to the end of Lonely Days, Lonely Nights in the description that I'm going to put in there, you're going to know it's lonely days, lonely nights. Where would I be without my woman? Lonely days, lonely nights. Where would I be? And so they have all this really wonderfully worked out parts where they push a lot of the rhythms on one line and they won't do it on another line, to where it makes the music really exciting and push in a lot of not where you would expect it kinds of places. This is no exception. Listen closely to this, how he pushes. So he does a ba-da-eh on a lot of these parts. Check it out.
Music loud, my women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born, but now it's on.
You can't right. So if I was a horn player, it's next slide. Right. So there's these pushes and pulls all over the place. They're really interesting.
It's okay, you may look the other way. We can try to understand. New York Times are faith on man.
Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive. Staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking. I'm staying alive.
That's on the one.
Staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive.
Staying alive.
Okay. And there's more. It kind of does the same thing towards the end, right? So now I want to add the track to this because it really comes together, the glue of what I'm talking about these horn stabs and the way they approach this when you hear it with the track. Check this out.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. The music loud, the women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born. But now it's alright, it's okay, and you may look the other way, but we can try to understand. The New York Times are faith on man.
Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive. Staying alive. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking. I'm staying alive. Staying alive.
All pushes.
Staying alive.
Sometimes they're 16th note pushes, sometimes they're 8th note pushes. So again, it's the difference of go ba-da, or ba-da, you know what I mean? Like they have all these crazy different pushes, which is to me just genius. Someone just sat there for days going, how can we really make this really interesting, very unpredictably, pocket syncopated singing, and just crazy. And did I mention they're really great songwriters? By the way, then there's that.
Staying
Check out the rhythm of this, man. Anyway, gang, hopefully you enjoyed this, and definitely check out my next video.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, my women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born, but now it's alright.